somewhere here so that you can really go to town on this finer cadence here? Yeah? I mean, you wanted to do that more, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm really done.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what the solution is. It's probably been like 15 years since I played this piece. And you know, one thing you actually might do, is just sort of practice going through this at varying dynamic levels without changing the dynamic. But just, you know, practice going from here to here, and if you can, you know, get all the way through. And then sort of decide, well, where do I need to revise my dynamic upwards, and do I have enough air left to do it? So that's one way that you might plan that. Okay, so like I said, I mean, you're really very controlled, and you're getting around the instrument very well. You know the notes extremely well. There's some good phrasing in here. One thing that I think you could do a little bit more is try to explore the varying characters that are in here. It's not just virtuosic; it's also dramatic, right? And because it's dramatic, it's sort of moving constantly. Maybe not quite as much as the Weber concerto does, but it's moving constantly between really vivid sort of characters or different voices, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So he takes this idea from back here, right? This, so maybe play that slightly differently. We'll get to that in a second. What do you think about this phrase? What does this phrase say to you? What's the sort of character of it, the mood of it?
It's like sweet.
Okay.
We said this yesterday, that's why she's laughing.
All right, good. What else?
It's kind of like more like free and flowy.
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel free when you play it?
I try to.
Yeah? You could
Like I'm on a
go.
cloud.
Oh, okay. All right.
On cloud 9.
If you can actually feel like you're on cloud 9 while you're playing clarinet, that's a terrific thing. So to me, it's almost like it's quite joyful, isn't it? Right? I mean, a lot of the rest of it sort of moves between a lot of different, generally more positive sort of emotions or characters, right? But this one, to me, it's almost like cloud 9, like you don't really have a care in the world and you're just kind of enjoying singing. Yeah. So could it be a little bit, you know, more sort of unbridled joy, sort of unapologetic joy in here, and maybe just allow yourself to go too far, and then at least you know how far too far is.
Okay.
Good. Let me just stop you before you continue, because the way you're starting now, the first thing you do is you take a breath, and I didn't really get a good impression of how good the breath was, because sort of as soon as you took that breath, you sort of came right back here and you pulled the clarinet into yourself. And I wonder if you could just actually take this, again, this unbridled joy, this feeling of being, this elation, and just kind of make them see that you're feeling that from the first note. Good. How did that feel? It was tongue down. Yeah. So the thing is, you don't need me to tell you that, and you don't need your teacher to tell you that. You just need to tell yourself that. Okay? It should be less. I mean, okay, so we work a lot on controlling the instrument. You know, once you've done all that work, that's back there. That's over there. Now is the time for you to stop doing that work and rely on sort of, as much as you can, 95% of your attention, I think, can be on the way you want this to sound.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is really great. You could probably, for me, arguably, you could be a little bit more there. Get this to work again. You know, you don't have to go on your tippy toes, but. You know, really kind of bare your soul a little bit more. So, beautiful beginning. No problems there. Your technique is more than adequate to get a beautiful dolce beginning there. So don't worry about that anymore. Ready? And 2, 3. Keep going. Yeah, good. I might even be tempted to not slur that. Yeah, so now here, good. I like how you're able to control the tone in this echo a little bit more, even though you're playing really quietly, except it might be too quiet.
Okay.
You know, I think there are times and contexts in which you can really draw them in and bring them in. And maybe this would be appropriate if you're playing with a particularly sensitive pianist, but if you're playing this with an orchestra, that's definitely not going to be right.
Okay.
Yeah? So, even still, I think you can give more. Maybe grow a little bit more here. And then come back a little bit so you can build this the way you want it to. And are you grouping these in fours? I couldn't tell. You're going tattletale, tattletale?
No, actually.
You might consider that. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah?
Like it's like.
Okay. Legato articulation. Let's try that. Okay, that may have been a little bit too much. I don't know whether you were here before when we talked about this, but if you don't want the B flat to pop out so much, the volume of that actually may have been fine if it were in the context of other louder notes.
Yeah.
So push from the bottom. Yes, beautiful. In context now. Remember that joy you were feeling back here? Yeah, one more time from here. I think this is much better already.
Yeah.
The thing is, you already know how to do all this stuff. It's not like you have to learn how to do it, right? You just have to sort of let it out a little bit. Okay, so crossing the break in the altissimo, kind of a little tricky, isn't it? Yeah, what's your strategy for that? Air. Okay, so let's hear it. B flat to D, back and forth. Forte. So you can do it. I don't need to talk to you about how to do it, right? So how come it didn't work in the varieties as well as that?
I guess I wasn't like specifically focused on making sure that was like really smooth.
Because you were too busy enjoying yourself,
Yeah.
which is kind of what we want you to do anyway. But yes, you may have to pay some attention to that, if not sort of in the practice room, maybe even in the context of the performance. How are we doing for time?
We got 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Good.
So how did that take 4/16 notes into that? Go back a little bit louder. Good. And then just work your way backwards just a little bit. Yeah. Get the technique of that down, and then I think you'll be able to feel the joy because you'll be so used to giving that good air on the B flat. Yeah. And for me, almost any sort of difficult ascent starts with strength on the bottom. So if that's just too hard. If you give a strong B flat, you can do almost anything to that D. You know, play the same volume, you can play it less. Yeah. So let's do that as you ascend. Looks like you already have a tenuto over here anyway. Whose is that?
I usually put that over notes that,
So you do exactly what I just described?
Well, ideally.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do it. Yeah. Yeah. How about earn the B flat this time though beforehand? Yeah. Yes, that's all you need. Great. Yeah.
Was that too much or was that?
I don't think so. I liked it. Maybe temporarily you don't need to spread it quite that much.
Okay.
But the sort of the gesture itself, I liked it. I don't think it was over the top at all. And then let's go from here. Yeah. So what is the purpose of this phrase, roughly speaking?
It kind of like sets up the next scene.
Yeah.
Like expands it.
Okay. And what kind of music is it? What kind of phrase is it? Is it showy? Is it
It's just
lyrical?
kind of, like lyrical.
It's lyrical, isn't it? So don't use showy articulation.
Okay, I didn't mean to do that. I don't know why.
How How many different kinds of staccato do you have?
3.
Okay, good. Well, that's a healthy number. All right, so let's have the kind of staccato that suits this passage. Yeah,
Okay.
try that one more time. Yeah, I think you could go even a little bit more round. I don't think it has to be all that detached. A little stronger. Good. Now you've gone a little shorter. So I gave more air, you played shorter. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So what are you thinking about here now when you play that?
Kind of like not as attacked.
Yeah. No, yeah. And physically, what are you doing differently? Do you think?
Less pressure on the reed, or like
Yeah. And conversely,
more air.
more air. Yeah. That's really kind of all you need. It's almost always about more air.
Right.
Great. So as you go through this, and this is, I think, true for everybody, when you're going through a Weber concerto or a Crussel or a Spohr or anything like that, there should be like as many different types of articulation in your arsenal as you can have. And you're not just going to change them up on a whim, just change them up according to what you think the phrases, the music is supposed to do, the character of the music is supposed to be at that point. Okay? Great.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Doug. Nice to meet you. Nice to hear you.
Yeah.